Rennie, thank you so much for this.
Um,
I'm really excited, and I've met you before. I shouldn't say that. I've never met you before,
oh,
but
okay, good. Because I don't have a good memory, so it could have happened and I wouldn't remember.
no, I've never actually met you before. But you have been in my radar for many years.
Oh,
You've been
really?
on a number of people as their guests. Um, let's see, Rob Goya, I think you were on his
Oh,
show,
yeah. Oh, I
and
love Rob.
he's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm part of his mastermind, and you are there for a lot of that. So
Yes.
it is an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank
Terrific.
you.
Thank you. And a pleasure to meet you as well.
I love your smiling face. And being a newbie, I'm new on Steve Orscher's radar here, but I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
And
And yeah, I've known Steve for a couple of years. I've been to his New Media Summit, but it was a fellow named Doug Sanders and Strickland something who I learned how to do my own podcast.
okay.
Yeah.
And are you focusing your podcast on creating wealth in all ways, or? Mhm.
Yep, exactly. Right now I am doing primarily, I'm not having any interviews yet. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm just, getting a lot of episodes loaded up. I'm talking about attitudes of the wealthy. I'm talking about, just a bunch of things similar to blogs and other stuff I write about.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well,
Oh, no. Yeah.
you provided me everything right off the bat. I love it. I just absolutely love it. I'm trying to get to that point myself to provide things immediately, a little bit more easily.
Yeah,
And
it's I can't help it. I just remember in college cramming for exams and midterms and term papers, and I hated that. And so I've grown out of it completely. As
yes.
I was just on the phone before we spoke about turning in an Acura that we have, and the lease ends October 28th. It's being turned in September 17th.
Make sure that there aren't any hangups or any last minute things. It's only smart. It's
Yeah.
only smart.
It's just so comfortable now. The car's already been cleaned out. There's nothing left in the glove box. It's just
All
sitting in the
about
garage. Yeah.
creating an awesome life for you. And when you're under the stress, under the gun, a lot of people think that that is the only way to go. Not me. I like the ability to feel comfortable and set up the boundaries so that you can be comfortable and still achieve what you want to achieve
Exactly.
and
So,
break down the barriers. So wonderful. Thank you so much. I am so excited because I think indeed a major part of having an awesome life is the financial part of it. If you can't, if you don't have the finances, it gets a little hairy. And being able to recognize that mindset that having wealth is not a bad thing.
no, well, that's correct.
Necessarily.
That's right. Despite the conditioning of society where a financial education is not valued so that credit card companies and banks could take advantage of people, having some knowledge is a good thing. And unfortunately, 90% of the population's been taught nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's not taught in school. It
No.
simply isn't. The concepts are taught in college, perhaps, but how to handle your day-to-day finances is never. It's not taught, and that
Yeah.
should be at third grade at the latest.
Yeah.
At the latest.
Yeah. And concepts from college are nice, but again, that's not the foundational stuff, and that's what's crucial. But anyway, I'm ready to start whenever you
All
are.
righty. Well, wonderful. So we'll get going here.
Okay.
And woo, woo, all right, get myself halfway decent here.
Oh, yeah, that ain't going to happen for me.
You look awesome, awesome. That's the only way to go. So, hey, welcome back to the Awesome Life Podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host, and I'm here today with Rennie Gabriel. I learned about him. I'm so excited to have him on the show today because he can give us some awesome information. He is a TEDx speaker and author of the award-winning bestseller book, Wealth on Any Income. And as you can see, if you're looking at this on video, the Wealth on Any Income behind him. After 2 divorces and a business failure, he was flat broke at the age of 50. And basically, he let go of a lot he had learned along the way about finances and how to make it work for you, and started all over from scratch. So, Rennie, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super, super excited. And tell us more. How did you do this? I mean, most people would actually go right down the tubes at age 50 and
yeah, it's funny. I do hear that a lot. Thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here. We've been in each other's orbits now for a few years, so it's great to really connect. And what I realized well, I'm not sure if I realized this, but it's never too late to start. I hear a lot of people tell me, oh, I'm already 50, it's too late for me, or I'm 55 or 60. One of my clients was 71 and having to start over, and everything has turned around for him. So the reality is it's never too late. And so age 50 isn't so bad, but hey, if it were 40 or 30 or 20, it'd be even better, but hey, it is what it is.
So you have discovered some myths that people think about finance. What are some of those myths?
Well, the biggest one that I see is that people believe they need to pay off their credit card debt or other debts before they can begin investing. And it is just so wrong. And I hear this stuff from other financial gurus who are on the radio or doing podcasts, or even your CPA might say the same thing. And here's how I look at it. Let's say that, Karen, I'll ask it of you. Let's say you wanted to build muscles, okay? How would dieting help you?
How would dieting help me build muscle? Really?
Right.
Yeah. I need to use some weights. I need
to lift
things. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you want to build, if you want to lose weight, fine, diet. If you want to build muscles, you need to lift weights. Well, it's the same thing with debt and wealth. If you want to pay off credit card debt and have no debt, fine. That's all you'll end up with. You will not create wealth by getting rid of your debt. You'll just have no debt.
So what do you do instead?
What you do instead is, even if you have debt, even if you have credit card payments you have to make, you must begin treating yourself like you matter. And the way you do that is you pay yourself. You take some part of what you're earning and you set it aside, whether it's a savings account, whether you start buying stocks or you put it in a mutual fund. You have to treat yourself like you deserve to own some of this money you're earning. That means you pay yourself first before you buy groceries, before you make the car payment, before you make your rent payment. Because if you don't do that, all you'll be doing is spending your life paying off credit card debt and never creating wealth.
So how do you know what to invest in? I remember going to my investment company and saying I wanted to purchase a stock, and I kicked myself because I didn't know. I didn't know anywhere else to go except to an investment company. And they said, I'm sorry, that's too low in investment price. We don't deal with those stocks. That was actually a Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's like, woo, through the marble.
Yeah. And one of the things that you can do is you could open up an account at a place like TD Ameritrade, and you can buy those stocks directly when you open an account, even if you buy one share. You don't have to buy a lot of 100 shares to get started. I mean, literally, that's what I did starting at age 50. I was setting aside $500 a month. I was making $5,000 a month. So the reason my book is called Wealth on Any Income is because literally I created a multi-million-dollar net worth while only earning $5,000 a month and paying myself $500 a month. From that, I created a multi-million-dollar net worth. So I was buying individual stocks, and I was choosing the companies that were on the Dow Jones Industrial 30 because I knew they'd be around through thick and thin. You know, it'd be like General Motors and companies like that. Even though they needed a government bailout in 2008, they're still around and they're still making cars. They're doing fine. And I would buy, with my $500, I might buy 1 or 2 or 3 shares of one company, and the next month, a couple shares of a different company. And I created my own little mutual fund with about 8 companies.
Wow, only 8 companies.
Yeah, that's all. And so, you know, it was very conservative. And this was like around the year 2000. And when we had the dot-com bubble burst and people were losing 30 and 40% of their investments, I was relatively flat. So whatever I put in is what I had. You know, hey,
so you didn't lose anything.
I lost nothing.
That's wonderful.
And so by being very conservative. And so then I had an opportunity to buy a little triplex. And one of the expressions I have is wealth creation. This is another myth. It's a team sport, not a solo sport. People think they have to become rich by themselves or build a business by themselves. And it's not true. A self-made millionaire is a fallacy. It doesn't exist. And anyone who says that's their situation is either a liar or deluding themselves, because it can't be done by yourself.
It's like anything else in the world. We need people.
Exactly. That's absolutely correct. Business growth is a team sport. Wealth creation is a team sport. Even a marriage is a team sport. So the point is, my wife had this realtor friend. I was married for the 3rd time. And he said, you should buy this little triplex. Oh, that's nice. I've got $18,000. And in Los Angeles, that means nothing. So my wife chipped in $18,000. And the realtor said, this is such a good deal, I'll chip in 36. That was the whole down payment.
Wow.
So I had 25% of what was needed. Again, team sport. That little triplex started us on the road to real estate investing. And that one project grew in 6 years to be a $500,000 profit. And so along the way, I borrowed more money. Another myth, you know, again, you don't have to pay off the credit cards. Like I said, I borrowed money to create wealth. That's what wealthy people do. And we made down payments on more apartment buildings. And I did it with borrowed funds. And within 8 years, we had 50 units we owned and managed, from the 3-unit 8 years earlier to 50 units.
So the triplex that you had, did you sell that in order
Yes.
to get the income for the others?
Yes, we sold it, and the IRS allows for what's called a Section 1031 exchange, where if you sell something and buy something like what you sold, which means, you know, real estate to real estate, residential, it could be residential to a commercial, it doesn't mean just real estate. You don't have to pay any taxes on the gain. So we had a $500,000 gain, paid no taxes on it, and we were able to pick up a 15-unit building.
Wow. That is something.
Yeah.
Golly, so one of the things I have heard is that when you do have more than a couple involved in finances, you do need other people, but that can be a little hairy when you said that your partner had invested half of the triplex.
Yes. And so fortunately, the three of us got along for the next 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
And then we got to a point where we didn't get along anymore. And what we did is we just split up the properties. He took half, we took half approximately, and he went on his way, and now it's just my wife and I.
Fantastic. So you're still doing the same thing.
Well, yeah, except now at my age, I'm not looking to buy anymore. We have so much already. I've determined we have enough. We're not going to be able to outlive what we have. It generates more income than even if we went out to earn a living. And so I'm 72 years of age. I'm comfortable.
Well, you're very young. That's called awesome living. You're very young looking fellow. Yes. Oh, wow. Well, so you are able to really enjoy, and that is all part of having an awesome life, having the income, having the health, having the joy, being able to do what you want to do. And I see on your sign, you give 100% of the profits are donated to charity.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because if you didn't, I was going to. It's sort of like a situation where someone will say, if you don't have to work, why are you working? And the reason is because when I'm teaching other people how to handle money powerfully, when I'm talking to them about investing, when I'm talking to them if they have credit issues or whatever, 100% of the profits I get to donate to charity. So that's why I'm working.
That's fantastic. And do you have favorite charities that you donate to?
Yes. The primary recipient is called Shelter to Soldier. They rescue dogs from environments where they could be euthanized or killed or die. And they train them as service animals for soldiers who've come back with PTSD or traumatic brain injuries. And so dogs that have a purpose in life aren't euthanized. And soldiers who come back who've been committing suicide at the rate of almost 1 an hour don't. Really, not one service member who's gotten their dog has committed suicide. So I'm just very honored to donate 100% of the profits from the work I do to that charity.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. That's great. That our soldiers need all the support and honor.
Yes, they're not treated the way that they need to be when they come home if they have injuries. Some are, but many aren't.
I know I spend a lot of time at the Travis Mills Foundation. He's a quadriplegic that has set up a retreat for but he won't call them wounded warriors. He calls them recalibrated warriors, because wounded, something wrong here, and you're wounded and you're suffering, and no, you're not. You're recalibrated. You're the bionic man now.
I love it. I'm so glad you told that to me. I'm going to remember recalibrated. Yeah, because all it means is you're just adjusting it. It's going to be just as good or better after you recalibrate.
That's it. And I see all of the service dogs that come there. That he has a retreat here in Maine, and it's wonderful. I love volunteering there, and that's how I can do it. So,
bless you.
One of those things. Well, back at you. I did not know about this, so I'm going to look into it. So what do you think about budget? Should people start budgeting? Do you take like 10% of your income when you say pay yourself first, or how do you do it? What do you think?
Yeah, we're talking about, terminology, just like the veterans who are being recalibrated. I don't push budgets, because budgets, that word creates the idea of lack or sacrifice or deprivation. Okay, so I talk about creating a spending plan.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, let's spend money in alignment with the goals you want to achieve. And so we create categories. Yes, well, we're recording this, right? So Yeah. So let's spend money to accomplish the goals that you want. People like spending money. I like spending money. So let's spend it in alignment with the results I want to produce. And separately from that is paying yourself first. That's treating yourself like you matter. So that comes before you figure out what your spending plan is going to look like.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Now
No,
your
it's
sound,
just,
yeah, your computer sound, I know you're not wearing your mic, but sometimes it's working great and sometimes you're fading out.
oh, I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah.
So,
There we go. Full voice,
okay.
full voice works.
Thank you for telling me.
You're
Yes, we
welcome.
did have a bit of an issue with my microphone, so it's just the computer sound. I'm so glad you sound wonderful because you're the important person here. So tell me, how can people learn more about you? How can they get in touch with you?
Really easily. I actually give away $1,000 worth of business building tools, like how to find people's best clients, how to ask for referrals with a 2-sentence script, how to have a safe conversation with your mate, from a book I published called Couples and Money. And all they have to do is go to wealthonanyincome.com/tools 8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
if they
wealthonanyincome.com
forwards,
/tools 8.
exactly.
Wow, that is a fantastic. And is that a free gift? Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, completely free. And
Wow.
it includes a summary of my award-winning best-selling book, Wealth on Any Income, including the forms that wealthy people use.
Wow. That's over the top there, Rennie. That's great. Wow. What an awesome gift.
Thank you.
Really, we do need to learn more, experience more, and recognize it does not have to be hard. We do need to ask for help upon occasion.
Yeah. Oh yes. And the funny part, well, I'll throw this in, but I try and keep it really simple. So if someone goes on the website, they get these tools, they'll be so easy to understand and implement. And the reason is I failed high school math. Okay. So if it's not simple, I can't use it.
Very, very good idea. Yeah. We make things way too hard. So I
Yeah.
like simple. I really do. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. So, do you have any last little tips before we have to go today?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to look up a little list here and see if it's, oh yeah, that the wealthy people look at the big picture before they focus on details. Too many people get hung up on the details of an investment and they lose sight of the big picture. And it's just like if someone were crossing the street and focusing on how high the curb was, or if there's cracks or dog mess or an open sewer cover. If that's all they focused on and didn't pick up their head to see if a car was coming, the details don't matter. It's the big picture first, the details second.
So, the big picture being that
You determine what you want. Let's say you're looking at buying real estate as an example, and you see a house that you think might be good, and the faucet's leaking or the carpet's frayed or the paint's peeling, and you say, oh no, this house is ugly. Well, maybe it's underpriced in a fabulous neighborhood. That's the big picture. That's what you have to look at first.
okay, I see, I see. And then go into how can we make this better? What needs
Exactly.
to happen? And more than the how, because that can bring you down and overwhelm, but what needs to happen so it
Yeah,
can be better? Make it
that's right.
easy. And
You-
it's amazing.
yeah, and you don't have to do it by yourself.
Oh, I love that. I do love that. Rennie, thank you so much for joining us today on Awesome Life Podcast. Wealthonanyincome.com. 100% of the profits are donated to charity. He is an amazing person. So be sure to go to wealthonanyincome.com/tools8, numeral 8, correct?
That's right. The number 8. Thank you.
Number 8.
Thank you,
Thanks
Karen.
again for joining me.
My
Bye-bye now.
pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.